Hard AF Seltzer is now live in over 2,500 locations across the United States. We're now available in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, Idaho, Illinois, Michigan, Montana, Oregon, and Texas. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, enter your city or zip, and find the nearest location closest to you.
Live from our studios in Austin, Texas, this is Drinkin Bros Fake News with Ross Patterson, Dan Hollaway, Papa G with the traffic,
Ross.
How do you feel?
Not good.
Yeah?
field reporter Hot Bob, and Delco Dan with sports. Welcome to Fake News.
Yeah! Welcome to Drinkin Bros Fake News, everybody. Bringing you the realest, fakest news of the week. Man, got a lot of real news, unfortunately, at the top of today's show here. We were saving this from Ross Patterson Revolution this morning to chat about it here. Obviously, a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines commercial jet last night. And I don't know about you, but my phone went off like 400 times, and I knew it wasn't good. I usually don't get the good text in the middle of the night. Do you?
No, I don't get any because I turn my phone off.
Do you really? Are you one of those ones who just shuts it down at night?
I put it on Do Not Disturb, and then I have a white list of people who are allowed to contact me.
Okay, but it's a white list.
That's what it's called.
Okay,
yeah.
well, we got a black guy in the audience today, so he's not going to like to hear that, all right?
That's too bad.
All right. Any chance in the future you will have a blacklist?
A blacklist in technical terms means people that are not allowed to contact you.
Oh, gotcha.
And everybody is on my blacklist, right? So technically, I'm progressive.
Yeah, my wife looked at me and she was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "It can't be good." The phone was on the nightstand and I picked it up, and then sure enough, here we are here at the top of the show. Before we get into this story, though, want to commend Street Gonzo, Gary Faust, and Joel. They shot a full documentary inside the fires in L.A. that is up on our channel. It was uploaded this morning right around 6 a.m. It is free to watch. It is footage that you will never see on the news and haven't seen before. They were able to sneak in through ambulances, past guards, and actually talked with the victims and go inside and see their houses, along with the response of what FEMA didn't do, I guess I should say, because you got to go online, fill out all the paperwork, and then you get to the end of it, so you get to see the real people and what their real results are. And $0 those guys are getting out there. So I highly recommend that if you got the time tonight to watch it, because extremely powerful, and kudos to those guys. Not your typical Street Gonzo. Still the craziness, and still almost got arrested 3 or 4 times, but actually for the good, and he was trying to help some people out there.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? All right, top story is the Black Hawk down. A passenger jet making a landing Wednesday night at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport collided with a military helicopter and plunged into the frigid Potomac River. There's been a lot of speculation so far as to what went wrong. Trump obviously leaned into the DEI side of it, which you and I did that story, what was it, a year and a half ago on this show?
Yeah, and it's probably not specifically relevant to the case in regards to a dummy being put into place, but we will find later in this story how it is relevant, in my opinion.
Okay.
Right? So first, let's look at the event. Bob, if you want to pull up that first link, you can see the crash happen, and then we'll get into explaining some of it.
Yeah, so last night as this was happening, I had not seen this angle of the footage here. So if you can describe this to the audio listeners, Dan, what's happening here in this image? The flight is landing or attempting to land here at DCA?
Yeah, the flight's it's on approach, and DCA is one of those airports. There's a couple in the U.S. that has a super low approach because of terrain and such, and also because this is the most congested airspace maybe on Earth, to be honest, in that DCA area. So
why?
What do you mean?
Well, I know Hartsfield is the biggest airport in the United States.
The largest airport, but it's bigger, right?
Okay.
And there's more airspace around, and you're also contending with constricted airspace just north of there from Arlington, which is where DCA is, at the White House, Pentagon. That's all restricted airspace. And then to the west is where Dulles is, right? So there's airspace over there, and all this is getting deconflicted all the time. So that becomes kind of problematic. What you can see from the video that we just watched is commercial aircraft. I think it was an American Eagle, which is a cutout for American Air, on approach, and the Black Hawk kind of lifts up into its flight path, and they collide, and then explodes. Right. So that's the base level facts. Now we can listen to Bob. If you want to pull this up. The air traffic control radio traffic from them.
Yeah, so I was listening to this last night, and to me, and you might be able to explain this better before you play this, it didn't seem like there was a lot of panic in his voice, or get the fuck out of the way.
There should never be panic over the radio.
Okay,
right. No matter what happens, if you've listened to other air or radio traffic rather from other crashes, whether it was Black Hawk Down, the actual Black Hawk Down event in Mogadishu, or otherwise, you hear him yell "Ray" at the end in the Black Hawk Down one, but mostly it's like Super 6-4 going down, right? Like you have to it's very important to communicate everything that's happened in a calm fashion back to control. So whatever happens, they can fucking deal with it.
Even if they can see the planes colliding, because I think my instinct would be like, man, you did not take what I said seriously the first time, so you need to back the fuck down right now.
Well, let's listen to this, and I'll tell you more about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is camera from the Kennedy Center, which is right across the Potomac there.
Press play, Bob.
342 at the Wilson Bridge, change to start runway 33, runway 33, clear to land.
Okay.
25 Memorial. S25 right. S25, get the CRJ in sight. S25, pass on is CRJ.
This club has a aircraft inside precision separation.
Wow, I've not seen that angle.
So you can hear him saying
3130, go around, turn left in 250, claim maintain 3000.
the air traffic controller is using visual cues to guide this guy, right? He's saying, "Do you see the aircraft on approach?" He says, "Yes." Now, I've talked to an air traffic controller rather, with about 35 years of experience, and their opinion was, based on what they read, is that the phraseology used by the controller left a lot to be desired. And I think what he means by that is you say, and look, I'm not an ATC expert or anything, but we've all heard these things before. Altitude matters. Flight path matters. Altitude is something that you can adjust pretty rapidly as well, right? So if you've got a bird on approach, a fixed-wing bird on approach, and it's at 2,500, and your fucking helo is fluctuating somewhere between 2 and 25, right? You're like, hey, drop to 15. There's a bird coming in, or drop to 15 and then clear, or whatever the fuck, right? None of that shit happened. You can hear it now.
Yeah.
Right? None of that happened. Now, I don't know how experienced. We don't know who the controller was or what their experience level was or anything like that. I've spoken to about a dozen people this morning so far, including pilots, airspace controllers, and air traffic controllers, JTACs, all sorts of folks, and they all agree to a person on the key details. First, you have to understand this is the problem from the Black Hawk perspective. So first, let's eliminate pilot error. Right, the airliner is taking controls from the tower. Right. The tower is supposed to deconflict all this. The aircraft is taking controls from the tower. Same thing with the helicopter, right? The problem with the Black Hawk is if you frankly, this might not be relevant in every ATC zone, but in Dulles and in fucking Reagan, it's definitely relevant that a Black Hawk can't see up, right? So
why not?
If you ever sat in a Black Hawk before, you've got somewhat curved but almost flat windshield, right? And then it caps, there's metal above you, right? So if you look up about 45 degrees or so, you see controls. It's a metal instrument panel, and you're not going to be able to fucking see. This is actually from Jared.
Okay.
I talked to him about this morning. Especially with night vision, if the pilot of the helicopter is floating somewhere between 2 and 2.5, I don't know if that's where they were. I'm just using those numbers for reference. And he's saying, I see this, and you're the ATC, and you know that he's like 200-300 feet below that plane. He can't see it. There's no way he could see it based on the way he's facing, right? So definitely not the pilot's fault. Neither pilot, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's error, user error, or at the ATC level. This is what I'm being told. Now, there's no upper glass window. You can't really see what's above you without radar. And also important here is that the plane was above the Black Hawk. So, all these experts are telling me the same thing, that the pilot of that helicopter probably never saw that plane. And this is why you don't just use visual cues, right? Especially at night. So if you were to say, hey, tail number N, blah, 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 whatever is on approach, do you see him? That would make sense because you can actually identify one plane from another. But in a heavily trafficked place like this, if you say, hey, do you see that plane coming towards you? And you see a plane, you're like, yeah, it's way over there. What do you mean? The difference between a plane and the plane is the difference between 80 people dying and not dying, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. Or 67 maybe, I think might be what it is. But as you heard on the traffic, the radio traffic there, the controller alerts the pilot, the incoming plane, asks if he sees it. Chances are high he was seeing a different plane in the distance. We'll know more about this after they recover the birds and see which direction they were facing at the moment of impact, right? Especially like if the Black Hawk is facing not directly at that other plane, right? He would never have seen it because he was below altitude.
Okay.
There's physically impossible for him to have seen it. So now back to Trump's point. There is a massive DEI problem at air traffic control, at the FAA in general. We did a story about this a few months ago about this new hiring initiative that prioritized hiring disabled and mentally ill people.
Correct. You and I had a lot of fun with that, but we also said, hey, that's probably the last job you would want somebody like that in control of.
Now, we don't know for sure if mentally ill person or disabled person was involved at the tower this day. But this is absolutely retarded and has already been rescinded by Trump, by the way. So that hiring practice is gone now. I don't know if they've cleaned the dum-dums out yet. But
actually, the guy resigned right before Trump took office. So the guy from the FAA actually resigned right before Trump took office. He knew. He knew what was coming.
What we know for sure, though, Bobby, pull up this next link from End Wokeness. What we know with an absolute certainty is that that control station at Reagan Airport was understaffed on the day. New York Times reported that this afternoon. So they didn't have enough people working there.
Correct.
Which means that guy that was the controller was controlling more than he should have been, right? Mm-hmm. That's number one. And then two, if you're wondering how this could possibly be, watch this fucking video.
Representing Mountain States Legal Foundation as part of a class action on behalf of 900 plus would-be air traffic controllers. And so we brought this suit based on the FAA's change in its hiring practices. So it used to be that they would score a pre-employment test and it would be based on merit. And all of our clients passed with flying colors. Many of them passed with 100% on this test. And the FAA decided that the pool of air traffic controller applicants was too white. And so they flushed that initial test and they adopted a biographical assessment, which you can already hear as an ominous term for a air traffic controller test. And unfortunately, our clients didn't pass that. And we allege that the FAA changed the test in order to gerrymander the racial pool. Representing Mountain States.
Yeah, so I also remember this story as well popping up. So you're not getting the best and brightest when you have practices like this.
No, if you live in a country that is 60 to 70% white, depending on how you define white, right? Caucasian or Caucasian/Latino or whatever, but just white in general. If you live in a country where the majority of people are white and you say, well, we have too many of them, you're undercutting your ability to hire the best qualified people. That's just fucking math, right? It's the dumbest shit of all time, and it's. So when you say DEI caused something, people think, oh, you're just saying that a person that shouldn't have been in that job was, and sometimes that's the case. But sometimes it's bureaucratic nonsense that keeps the right people from getting hired in the first place, and you show up understaffed on a day with a lot of traffic, and fucking this happened, right? Now Hegseth addressed it as well, and I think in this video he also talks about the Gitmo thing, which is pretty funny. But go ahead and play this next video.
While you're doing that, at Reagan National, they've been understaffed for many years, and they said they have only 19 fully certified controllers, and that was as of September 2023, and that's well below the target of 30, according to the ATC workforce plan that was submitted to Congress, and they never got the extra 11 people in roughly a year and a half, so that's not great either. Bob, go ahead and play this video.
All right, update this morning. Just got off the phone with the Southcom commander and the chairman, the Joint Chiefs, talking about our efforts at Guantanamo Bay. That is ongoing. We're leaning forward on supporting the president's directive to make sure that we have a location for violent criminal illegals as they are deported out of the country. No one's going to wait on the Defense Department, and we're working that in real time. But I also wanted to give an update on the tragedy that happened last night here in Washington, D.C., and provide a little bit more information as we are actively working to investigate and understand what occurred and why. At about 8:48 last night, a UH-60 assigned to the U.S. Army Aviation Brigade in the Military District of Washington, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, collided tragically with a civilian airliner. The unit involved, the Army unit involved, was Bravo Company 12th Aviation Battalion at Fort Belvoir. It was an annual proficiency training flight. And when we look at the crew, and not all kin have been notified, so we're going to withhold ranks and names at this point. We do know on our side who was involved. It was a fairly experienced crew, and that was doing a required annual night evaluation. They did have night vision goggles. The 12th Aviation Battalion, as of now, is granted a 48-hour operational pause on contingency missions as what happened is reviewed, and a senior-level aviation team, an investigative team from our Aviation Safety Center, was deployed last night and already is in Washington, D.C. to investigate what's going on. We anticipate that the investigation will quickly be able to determine whether the aircraft was in the corridor and at the right altitude at the time of the incident. As I mentioned, next of kin notifications are ongoing. It's a tragedy, a horrible loss of life for those 64 souls on that civilian airliner, and of course, the 3 soldiers in that Black Hawk. They're in our prayers, their families and their communities. As people are notified, I can't imagine. And I know it's gone from a rescue mission to a recovery mission, and we're with all the first responders that are moving actively too. So at the Defense Department, our thoughts and prayers go out. We are actively investigating to find out what happened and why. And as we get updates, you will have them. God bless.
Okay, well, first, it's nice to have a guy with "We the People" tattooed on his arm in charge of our fucking Defense Department. Before we move on. Jack Jr. in the chat here. I'm a controller here in the U.S. Every facility in the country is understaffed. We're working 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yep. And to his point, by the way,
like I don't want tired people controlling whether or not airplanes crash into each other. For fuck's sake.
No, nobody does. And they actually made a movie about this. Wasn't it John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton, I believe?
Pushing Tin, I believe that's where Billy Bob met Angelina.
Yeah. And then they started swapping blood. So that's how intense that job was, apparently.
Well, speaking of swapping blood, sometimes you can get AIDS from it. And Trump had this to say about Pete Buttigieg.
Okay. This is the next clip we're going to watch here. Is he live right now?
This was earlier.
Okay. Secretary Pete Buttigieg. A real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit
Whoa. Whoa.
Which is
Said that on live TV, huh?
It's no more playing games, my friend.
That is wild. So as I'm looking at this here, because we're getting updates now, the preliminary crash report detailed that a lack of staff meant the controller monitoring and directing helicopters near DCA was also instructing planes landing and departing on the runways. Usually 2 controllers would handle these roles, as staff used 2 different radio frequencies to talk to planes and helicopter pilots. While the controller's talking to them, the pilots of each aircraft may not be able to hear each other.
Right, yeah. And the good news is, though, that there weren't too many white people. That's the good news.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're going to end up burying your family members this week, just like everybody in L.A. lost everything, right? And they'll never get made whole financially for it because FEMA sucks and because the insurance companies bailed on them. But just know, when you're living in a van down by the river, covered in soot still from the fire, that no white people were there.
We're there to help.
So that should bring you some level of comfort.
It does, but I want to ask you something here. Now, the CEO of American Airlines said this is the Army's fault.
I mean, he should probably keep his mouth shut, to be honest.
Do you think they try to get ahead of this because they know, obviously, a massive lawsuit is coming?
I mean, that's possible that American Air gets sued for this. I mean, you would have to show culpability. No, it's the air traffic control system that is at fault. Everybody that I've spoken to agrees with that.
Okay.
Like literally everybody.
Well,
I haven't talked to any crazy liberals or anything.
Sure.
But the people that I know that have worked for ATC, that fly planes, that have been, that have done airspace interdiction, or deconfliction rather, excuse me, in both war and America, all agree.
Okay.
Right. So, no, I think that's a huge mistake for him to come out and say that, actually. It makes him look like a cunt.
Yeah. Well, that is what happened here. And then I'll give you some more updates as they're coming in here. At least 28 bodies have so far been recovered from the river. I know that it was tough because it happened at night, and also they had to use some sort of underwater goggles that could see through the murkiness of that river, I guess.
It's not the cleanest, probably.
Okay. As we mentioned earlier, the control tower was understaffed. Shortly before, the jet pilot was asked to change runways. Unclear as to why or which communication they would or wouldn't have, going back to if there were 2 people working and they were able to communicate to both the helicopter pilot and the airline pilot at the same time. Maybe that would have helped. And then they're also saying the helicopter warned before the crash. So... yeah, a lot of people on social media are saying this is some sort of conspiracy. I hate that we're in this world now where we look at all of this as some sort of conspiracy. Do you see any form of conspiracy in this whatsoever?
No. I mean, yeah, in a way. I see the conspiracy to weaken America through Marxism, and it's working, right? Injecting race and social issues into things that are ones and zeros will have this effect, yes. It's cultural Marxism. It is definitely intentional. It is the Russians, right, who started this thing. The Chinese have kept it going. And then, obviously the communists that live here in America as well. And we have to get rid of these people. Yeah.
And there was also a reporter who's just getting absolutely torched online for going up to the guy at the airport and asking to see his text messages and then showing them live on air to his wife who was on that flight, not telling him that the flight was already down and they were, more than likely dead at that point. So to confirm, 67 are dead, and right now they're recovering the bodies from the river over there. Man, it's a wild story. Next up, obviously we talked about this yesterday. Confirmation hearings are going on the Hill. Kash Patel was the one we were all waiting for last week. That's just been a blast all day. Endless clips here. Go ahead and start with that Ted Cruz one there in the middle there, Bob, for Kash Patel. I expect him to sail through, and it really started to seem like, I don't know how much you watched of this morning, that they just didn't really want to ask him questions because they were just going to get torched and it would become a viral moment.
There were a couple of people who fucking tried to get, I guess, under his skin with a couple of things. But as I said, since he's been nominated, he's not the one to fuck with.
No.
Because he's, whatever he'll admit to in the chamber today, and I think they're in the Senate Hart building, whatever he'll admit to in the chamber today, he knows quite a bit more, and they know he fucking knows it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a couple of the repubes, like Marsha Blackburn, have tried to fucking kind of lead him down certain roads, and he's to some degree resisted. Like she was asking about the Epstein stuff, and he was, I wouldn't say cagey about it, but he definitely wouldn't go full retard.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But they all know he will.
Once he gets in.
Yeah.
Go ahead and play this from Ted Cruz here. We'll start with this clip, Bob.
Doing on that day?
On that day specifically,
January 6th.
responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of D.C. and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator, we were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and in numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Did Mayor Bowser, the Democrat-elected mayor in D.C., either request or allow National Guard assistance?
She put in writing on the days leading up to January 6th a declination for National Guard additional support, and that letter is available publicly to the world.
So, and just to speak English for folks at home, a declination meant she said no, don't send National Guard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a simple question, because from the questioning from my Democrat colleagues, they might think otherwise. Do you condemn violence against law enforcement?
All of it.
So, essentially what he's saying here is that, not only was the mayor informed and they said no, Nancy Pelosi knew, Chuck Schumer knew, everybody else knew about the National Guard. They also said no to this. Play the next clip down.
I mean, by the way, you all remember this video of Pelosi on her dumbass daughter's fucking gay little documentary where she admits she's at fault,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Like, we've got the letter of declination from Bowser and all these dipshits, and then you have her on camera some weeks or months later saying, yeah, that was wrong. I should have definitely got the National Guard involved.
Yeah.
The end.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's the end of it. What the fuck are we talking about
That's
here?
it. Go to the one with the yellow writing there at the bottom, Bob, right there.
And by the way, before you play this, we were just in D.C. and they had it locked the fuck down. That shit that happened in 2021, regardless if you think it was some provoked conspiracy or whatever the fuck else, could not physically have happened had they had it locked down the way they did this year. Period. Right? If they had just done their fucking jobs, it never would have happened. So it makes you wonder, why wouldn't they have done their jobs?
I don't know. Because there was walls, cages, you name it. Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, out there.
I mean, I would love to have a bear.
God, it's just unleash a bear on somebody if they go nuts. That'd be great. It's
Well,
right
there's the prophet Elisha in the Bible. One time, there were a group of kids making fun of him for being bald, and he called a she-bear, as they call it, out of the woods, and it mauled all the kids.
Really?
So there's historical and religious precedent for it. That's all I'm saying.
And also, as a parent of 3, that'll be a fun story to put my kids to bed tonight with.
I'm going to tell them.
Yeah, you should.
I will, yeah.
Yeah, you can come over.
It's a good life lesson. Always make fun of the bald.
Always make fun of the bald. Go ahead and play this next clip here. This is also regarding January 6th.
Let me inform you then. What it says is it raises an interrogatory asking why government resources.
I'm not doing that. I keep pausing. Yeah.
Were utilized. I've run resources and sources at the FBI. I've run sources overseas. It takes months for source developmental networks.
What resources were utilized a year in advance of planning?
That's the question I'm asking, and the Biden Inspector General report answered that question in the affirmative, that multiple sources were utilized, and I was simply trying to get to that answer.
What the Inspector General came back with was, quote, there is no evidence that the FBI had undercover employees in the various protest crowds or at the Capitol on January 6th.
And there is
no evidence.
There's a huge distinction between undercover employees and sources. I know because I ran them. And anybody in law enforcement knows that too.
Yeah, Kyle talked about that yesterday about using these phrases to be intentionally deceptive, saying UC, right? Undercover and or CI, confidential informant, who's not an employee of the bureau but is working on their behalf, right? They use this is just intentionally deceptive language for theater. That's all it really is.
And now, Bob, go up to the clip by Gunther Eagleman, I believe his name is here, and this is in regards to Marsha Blackburn, who
this
was
one is not
chatting with him here.
This one. Yeah, okay. There's two Gunthers in there.
Two Gunthers,
Wait, there's
huh? What are the chances of two Gunthers?
It's two posts by the same guy, or there's two independent Gunthers running around?
Yeah, because I got to know if there's two Gunthers out there.
Okay, no, there's just one.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Okay.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I got to play this clip here.
Their questions, and it has led me to one thing. Why are the Democrats so afraid of you?
I don't know, Senator. You'd have to ask them.
Well, I tell you what I think, and listening to their questions and your responses, which we appreciate, they know that you're going to go in and you're going to clean up that political cabal that has been over there for years. You are going to reposition the FBI to its core mission. You stated that earlier in this hearing, and there will be no more political persecutions and no more two tiers of justice, and they have liked having two tiers of justice. They have enjoyed it, and it has helped them. They think in their political mission, they've enjoyed targeting Catholics. They've enjoyed targeting parents. But the American people have said they want no more of that. And our colleagues know you're going to clean it up. I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, earlier I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this. And I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to.
Okay, so thank you, Bob. Here's what I wanted to ask you personally in regards to this Epstein list. Do you think he's already seen it because he was there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so he knows all the names?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay.
He would have had compartmentalized. I mean, he was a deputy director over at DHS, I believe, right? Is that the position? Or was it the DOD, rather?
I forget, because he said several over there, and Kyle went over them yesterday.
Let me see the exact.
Great episode if you haven't heard yesterday's episode.
Let me see the exact position. It was fuck's sake. Come on. The one time they don't have shit on here. I'll have to look for it. But, yeah, I mean, he would certainly, in his... So he was, if you recall, the kind of the way that he came to prominence, because remember before he was involved in the Trump stuff, he was working for JSOC and stuff, and they don't really do a lot of press.
Right.
If you haven't noticed, right?
And rightfully so. Like, I understand why.
Yeah, but then he, in his position with Trump, he was the one that kind of broke the Russia collusion hoax. He's the one that found out Steele was involved and that he's full of shit and all this other stuff, right? So yeah, he was deeply involved in some of these investigations. He would definitely know.
Okay. And then let's say he gets confirmed, I don't know, 2-3 days. What's stopping Trump from releasing that list immediately then?
The bandwidth to get it all together and publish it, I guess.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what a lot of people have asked for. And I wonder how many people in active Senate and Congress on both sides are on that list.
Yeah. And look, being on the list doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? If you're flying to the island, I think that should be, I think you should be probably investigated thoroughly for that. Being on one of the planes, though, to be honest, if it's between the early 90s and the late 90s in that time period, just in the 90s at all, probably not enough smoke to really look into unless there's something else going on. But because a lot of people are on those flights.
Yes.
Right. And he was a major financier, and like it or not, that's how politics works. You got to fucking pretend to like people that have money.
Yes.
To fund your campaigns. That just happens to be how American politics works. It's one of the reasons that I continuously tell you all that all politicians are cunts, all of them.
Bob, you pulled up a picture here in the background there.
This is the famous Prince Andrew photo.
Now he's already been ousted, so like that guy has been that guy has already been ousted, and it appears at least England's already said, hey, this is all we're going to do with him, and he's going to be banished to whatever tiny castle that fucking is, and he can't do anything anymore.
Yeah,
which obviously isn't punishment, but you know.
To Dan's point, I think the flight lists aren't in and of themselves like. That's not damning in and of itself. Also, because I think this was taken in New York.
Probably.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's at his New York fucking brownstone.
And this is the underage chick that was trafficked. One of them that was trafficked. So it's not necessarily you were on the flight. Maybe the island should probably be investigated no matter what. But yeah, it's not necessarily on the flight. Like it could be in New York, could be on the island.
Exactly.
Could be in Florida because he has properties there. That's where he originally got sued or arrested.
It was.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the other part that I want to know about is the involvement of the Israeli government. So everybody knows that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was Mossad, right? Or involved somehow with Mossad. And we know that a lot of their intelligence infrastructure came from the old school Russian infrastructure. And this is one of their fucking playbook moves. They entrap you in some kind of fucking deviant behavior on camera, photos or camera, and then they fucking blackmail you for the rest of your goddamn life. That's how it works.
Church of Scientology does the same thing.
Yep.
So
they've done it for years, and I want to know exactly what I want to know exactly what the Israeli government's involvement was, and if people that are still alive in their intelligence community and Netanyahu himself, who I believe is directly involved in this, we need to extradite them and put them in prison for the rest of their fucking lives.
I agree. Will he have access to that information? Yes. Okay. And then lastly, Bob, you can play that Libs a TikTok video here from, she's my new fave, because I genuinely can't tell if there's something wrong with this woman or maybe she is mentally retarded. This Hirono chick from Hawaii.
Answer yes or no.
She's dumb as shit, dude.
I've never seen anything like this. She's been doing this in every single hearing.
I've never heard of her until this month.
Me neither.
When she started doing these hearings, and it's not none of the results so far have been good for her.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard this one, go ahead and play it.
Hear your answer, yes or no. Did you make money?
I don't have
those.
This
is my third and last time I'm going to ask you that question.
You have that information.
So you refuse to answer the question.
I answered 1,300 pages.
You no answer, and yet you spread dangerous misinformation. Hear your answer, yes or no.
She's been doing this at every hearing.
Wait, what? There we go. I was so close to deducting 5 points from your house. I don't know how
from Gryffindor.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're Gryffindor or not. You get to choose, I guess. Or
you
the
do
hat
get
does,
to choose.
If I made that reference, you would have threatened to shoot me in the leg.
Yeah. Or
right.
We'll bring that chick back in who stormed the studio, dude. The J6er.
Actually, I think we're gonna fucking get her a trailer out back too. You know what I mean? So she can come in and discipline you guys when you get out of hand.
Bob, what date was Monday? Was it the 26th?
J26.
J26 for you.
Yeah.
She slapped your cancer stitches.
Never forget.
Yeah, never forget, dude.
Did you have to get them restitched?
J26.
I think
you got him taken out, right?
Yeah, I got a stapler.
He went home and his wife just got some glue, just kind of
glued it
That's
back
what you
on.
should have done in the first place. Stitches are a sign of weakness.
They really are. They really
Next time,
just
let me
super
handle
glue
for
it
you.
up. Yeah,
Super
and
glue
it
and a
can be
chip clip,
fine.
dude. I don't know why you're fucking going to doctors anyways. Super glue and a chip clip, you can fix pretty much anything.
I think you're good. All right. That'll lead us to our first sponsor of the show. Put the lights on here and keep us going. GhostBed.com/Drinkin Bros. Pull up the website, Bob. I want to confirm this, that it's still 50% off every single item in the entire store. Is that what we got still? Yeah. Promo, there it is. Live on screen, 50% off. All right, go down to the bundle package down there, if you will, Bob. I appreciate it there. With the adjustable base. Okay, right there is perfect. So we're going to have one in the studio in the middle here for the live Super Bowl watch party. Obviously, since it's the same two teams that we just covered 2 years ago and went to the game down there, no need to go back. We're pretty familiar with these guys. Derek Wolf will be joining us. Going to try to get Lastro Lopez here back on the ghost bed again, just like the old days, you know, watching the game with the adjustable base. If you're using that 50% off promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout, highly recommend that bundle package. It comes with the mattress, sheets, pillows, and the adjustable base. We got one just for him for Super Bowl Sunday, and I highly recommend you get one. Now, if you're out there and you're saying, all right, I just need some pillows or sheets or a mattress, whatever, that's all fine. You can throw it in the carts, pop in the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. You'll get the 50% off. You're good to go. But if you're going to use the bundle package, here's what I did. You can stretch it out over 3 years. No interest, 36 months, as long as you have decent credit over there. Stretch it out, and it's only $45 a month after there. No interest, who gives a shit? It's kind of like one of those streaming bundle packages that lives on your wife's credit card every single month. I don't know. Why does she still have Showtime? Did she leave? Oh, she left after Puya. That's what she left. Why do we still have Showtime? I don't even think that's a network anymore. All right?
I think it's on the way out.
Yellow. They have the new Dexter prequel. They've got.
But didn't they combine it with Paramount Plus or whatever it is?
You can get it. You can get Showtime through Paramount Plus. That's how I have it.
There's no possible way to look that up.
No, there isn't.
And also, I'd like to immediately correct Rob. Monday was not the 26th.
It was not?
It was the 27th.
Look at you.
You stupid.
Come on. You guys do a history show for
You
Christ's
stupid
sake.
bitch.
Yeah, J27, dude.
He's just bad at math.
Never forget. Never forget. And never forget those savings at ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. 50% off every single item in the entire store. All right, next up, as far as confirmations hearings go, Tulsi Gabbard was up there today, rocking and rolling on the stand there. How does that work, Dan? Do they go to separate rooms, or is it one right after another?
So the confirmation hearings are just the committee that oversees that position, right?
Okay.
It's and then the entire Senate votes on it, but it's just that committee that questions.
Okay.
So yeah, they're in different chambers.
Got it, because I can't figure out for the life of me how that weird Asian woman just keeps popping into all these. I'm like,
I don't know why she's on any committee, to be honest. The problem in the Senate is there's not enough senators to just kick people off all committees. That's why Adam Schiff is even alive right now. Like he would.
I can't believe he is in politics.
He would be a senator with no power if there was more than 100 senators. But
now he's one with a pardon, right?
Yeah,
he's one of the guys with a full pardon there.
Yeah, which is, if I were, I think it should be called before Congress, frankly, right?
Yeah,
and investigated. Why did you get a pardon? And then he can't lie at that point because he's been pardoned for it. If he lies, it's an additional crime. Even if he didn't commit a crime to get the pardon, you can ask him all these questions, and if he lies about anything, it's perjury. If he refuses to talk, it's contempt of Congress. You can charge him and throw him in fucking prison. Now, should we do that? Yes, because he's a piece of shit.
Let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this, and I know we had this conversation yesterday, too, with Kyle for a little bit, but one thing struck me on the way home. In the wording in Biden's statement saying this is, like using politics against my opponents and all that other stuff, could he go up there and answer that exact statement from the pardon, or would he actually have to answer the direct question?
He has to answer anything.
Okay.
Anything? What
he couldn't just regurgitate that sentence over and over and over again?
What sentence exactly?
Biden said in his pardon that it was a weaponization of politics, and he was going after certain people for doing certain things.
Then I would call him in front and say, well, if you haven't committed a specific crime, why'd you accept the pardon?
Okay. And then ask him why.
And then if he says, I don't know, I haven't committed any crime, I'm like, okay, then you're acknowledging anything we discover from this point forward wasn't part of the pardon then. Mm-hmm. And you establish that in court or in Congress under oath, which means now you can hold him to that moving forward.
Okay.
That would be a good idea.
Now, Tulsi's up now. Go ahead and play her opener here, Bob, as she gets going here. Really like the whites. I mean, she really went with a lot of fashion up there on the Hill.
She just seems like I'm watching Storm from the X-Men. Or not, Storm.
Storm, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Rogue. Either one.
No, Rogue.
I think it's Rogue.
Is it intentional? Because it's intimidating where you're like, all right, fuck, man.
Yeah, it's definitely Rogue.
Storm has mixed hair as well. It's white and black. But Rogue is what I was thinking of. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and play
the
this
Rogue's
clip.
powers are...
Nope, all good. All good on that.
You didn't do the nasal accent.
Yeah.
Can you do it again? Actually,
Rogue's powers are she can drain the power of any other X-Men.
You know what I'm amped about? I've never seen any one of those movies. I've never seen one X-Men in my entire life.
They're good.
No, are they?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, yeah.
Okay.
They're good movies.
Okay. Again, press play on Tulsi.
Before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet. Now, before I close...
Okay, so that was in Tulsi's closing statements here. Look, I watched a lot of this earlier. It was kind of very similar to what I said yesterday. She's very, very smart. They could not really trap her in any of these statements or anything, related to Russia or anything else. Another senator came up, I believe it was Tom Cotton, and he had said, look, she's undergone 5 FBI background checks, spent more than 2 hours reviewing all of those, 300 pages apiece. It's clean as a whistle here. Do you think she gets in after today's performance? Because it was pretty much the same as what I said it was going to be yesterday. It was unflappable, and they couldn't really trap her in anything.
I would be surprised, to be honest. I think Kash is fine.
Okay.
I would be surprised if she gets in. People hate her a lot.
And who are those people, I guess?
The left really hates her for embarrassing them. So none of them, I don't think any of them were ever going to vote for her no matter what she said or did or who the candidate was, frankly. Some of these votes have been mixed, but some of them, like Pete, for example, have been on party lines. It'll all depend, I guess, on what promises she makes to them behind the scenes between now and the vote.
Okay.
Like Thune and some of these other cunts, they want her to fucking keep FISA 702 going. What we talked about with Kyle yesterday. And then, also Kash was asked about it, and he was like, yeah, I think he's a slick dude. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. So he's asked, does FISA 702 allow for search of the documentation or the data, rather, without an additional warrant? And he said yes. That means that as written, the law does say it is, right? That doesn't mean he agrees with it. He's a very slick guy, right? Because you can find video of him saying that it's not constitutional all over the place. So instead of doing what Tulsi did, which is say, yeah, I'll support it, he just waited until the confirmation hearing and gave an elusive answer, which is much smarter. That's why he's going to do well. And I don't know if she gets confirmed or not, to be honest.
Okay, and to your point about the left hating her here, she did come out swinging. Bob, I just sent you a clip regarding Barack Obama and the CIA. for conducting regime changes, operations in Syria, and funding of terrorists. I want you to listen to her statement and tell me if this is true or false.
Senator, as someone who enlisted in the military specifically because of al-Qaeda's terrorist attack on 9/11 and committing myself and my life to doing what I could to defeat these terrorists, it was shocking and a betrayal to me and every person who was killed on 9/11, their families and my brothers and sisters in uniform. When, as a member of Congress, I learned about President Obama's dual programs that he had begun really to overthrow the regime of Syria, and being willing to, through the CIA's Timber Sycamore program that has now been made public, of working with and arming and equipping al-Qaeda in an effort to overthrow that regime, starting yet another regime change war in the Middle East. DOD Train and Equip program, again, begun under President Obama, is widely been known, looked at, and studied, that ultimately resulted in over $500 million being used to train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with al-Qaeda's affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, but today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
It shouldn't
is
be.
certainly
And I
not in our
understand,
interests.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, everything she said is true.
Okay.
Timber Sycamore was an operation begun during the Obama administration and in conjunction with Abdullah from Jordan, who's to some degree our puppet, but he wanted this to happen. He didn't like Syria, and then obviously Israel. Netanyahu convinced Obama to do this, and essentially what we did was we provided weapons and training to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, so that they could fight the Assad regime in Damascus. Now, this is after us helping to overthrow the Iranian government and exchanging a king, or Shah as they call it, for a religious zealot in the Ayatollah. We did that. We helped install Saddam Hussein after that. And after that, we trained what would become Al-Qaeda, right, to fight the Russians. Mm-hmm. So we could help to degrade, as we call it, same thing that's happening in Ukraine right now, by the way. We got to degrade the Russians, so we have to do this. Then to fight Al-Qaeda, we stood up ISIS in the middle part, or I'm sorry, excuse me. To fight Al-Qaeda, we helped fund Muqtada al-Sadr's father to start Jaish al-Mahdi, the Mahdi army. And that was to fight Saddam Hussein as well, but it became a problem with Al-Qaeda later. And then to fight Jaish al-Mahdi, we created ISIS in Baghdad in 2007 and 8. I was there. We called them the Sons of Iraq, right? And we trained them to set up checkpoints all over the country. And what they turned into were fucking traveling hit squads. And then once we left, they assembled, became ISIS, and that's who took over Mosul and some of these other places once we left. And we had to go back there in 2017 and 18 and drop bombs on everybody, right? Jared's got the flag, the ISIS flag that was flying over Mosul at his house right now. After this, we continue down the same path. In 2012, the Arab Spring, Mubarak gets kicked out of Egypt by the Muslim Brotherhood, of all people. Like, I don't know how we thought that was going to go in our favor. Not too long after that, Benghazi falls, and fucking homeboy gets dragged through the street and butt-fucked, and now Libya is an unlivable country, right? Not that it was great with him there. Not that Syria was great with Assad there, but they were stable. There's a lot of Assyrian Christians that live in Syria, and they were alive under Bashar al-Assad. They're not alive now. They're all getting targeted and killed. And as we mentioned a couple months ago when this all went down, Syria is now in charge, is controlled by the dude who was an Al-Qaeda and ISIS leader. He's worked for both organizations in leadership positions, and now he's in control of Damascus. It's like, this is the same fucking playbook over and over and over again that's done nothing but enrich the military-industrial complex and make America less safe. That's all it's done. These people are incompetent, and to some degree their incompetence could be interpreted as treason, in my opinion.
Well, when I hear statements like this, and this is why I think these confirmation hearings, in particular the last couple of weeks, have been so interesting to me, is because we've never had people openly expose things like this during these meetings, conversations, hearings, everything else, and then also the social media to catch up to it, where we can just play the clips in rapid fire succession here, because they're all of a different, unique background. RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel. We've never had people like this just come on the Hill and just spout all the things we thought that were going on, and then just say it right to their faces here. This last clip that I want to play for you involves FISA and something you would reported on the show years ago regarding that Steele dossier. She actually brought it up today, but it was in regard to Title I of FISA, and I don't know what that is. Play this last clip, Bob.
Here are just a few other examples. The American people elected Donald Trump as their president not once but twice, and yet the FBI and intelligence agencies were politicized by his opponents to undermine his presidency and falsely portray him as a puppet of Putin. Title I of FISA was used illegally to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, using a Clinton campaign-funded false dossier as their so-called evidence. Biden campaign advisor Tony Blinken was the impetus for the 51 former senior intelligence officials' letter dismissing Hunter Biden's laptop as disinformation specifically to help Biden win the election. Former DNI James Clapper lied to this committee in 2013, denying the existence of programs that facilitated the mass collection of millions of Americans' phone and internet records, yet was never held accountable. Under John Brennan's leadership, the CIA abused its power to spy on Congress, to dodge oversight, lied about doing it until he was caught, and yet has never been held responsible. Under Biden, the FBI abused its power for political reasons to try to surveil Catholics who attend traditional Latin Mass, labeling them as quote-unquote radical traditionalist Catholics. Personally, just 24 hours after I criticized Kamala Harris and her nomination, I was placed on a secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. Sadly, there are more examples. The bottom line is this must end.
Okay, so what does Title I and FISA mean in regards to...
I mean, Title I is just what allows, it's like, so think of it as there's a law and then there's bullet points under it, right? Mm-hmm. Title I is just the first statement of what the law is. And in the case of FISA, it allows the U.S. government to collect information on foreign communications, whether it's a U.S. citizen or not.
Okay.
Essentially, right? That's it. That's what that means. Now, Kyle talked about this a little bit yesterday with regard to this particular investigation, but they used this as a backdoor. They found somebody on Trump's team, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody in the upper echelon of Trump's team who had communications with a foreign person. Doesn't matter who. Could be your grandma in fucking Mexico. It doesn't matter, right?
Sure.
You have communications with a foreign person, and they use that as an excuse to fucking put a trap on all the fucking data coming in and out of there, right?
Yep.
So, which would include any text that person had with Trump, any emails he had with Trump, any of that stuff. It would all get collected.
Okay.
Yep.
And as far as 702 goes, how is that different than what she was talking about in regards to what they were doing to Trump, I guess?
Section 702 is it allows the government to, again, it's part like Title I. It allows to collect information from non-U.S. citizens abroad. It also enables the intelligence community to analyze that information. So we're talking about the thing that Kash said as well, and what Kyle was talking about yesterday, where you create this entire giant pool of information, incidental collection included, right? Stuff that you shouldn't. That wasn't part of the scope of your investigation, but you collected it anyways because that's how collection works. Mm-hmm. You should have to have a separate warrant to go look at that stuff. Now, Kash said that you don't need one. He didn't say that you shouldn't have one. That's a fucking major distinction, and keep your eye on that in the next couple of weeks when we start making changes to this stuff. 702 is particularly the electronic part. So the DNI almost unilaterally can, or the Attorney General can identify, or their offices, right? There's like 2,000 people that work at the ODNI. It's not just like, it wouldn't just be Tulsi. It's like 2,000 employees to do this stuff. Now, maybe they could be pared down to 200. That'd be nice. But or the Attorney General's office, which is to say the Department of Justice, can identify a person for collection and then blah, 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 right? Now you've got the ability to do this stuff. Pretty much since its inception, every single audit that's happened of 702 or just FISA in general has shown that it's rife with abuse. Right. The only president that we've had so far that wasn't using it in a negative way, I think, was Trump. But it did get used in a negative way. And when I say that, I mean politically specifically, not just to spy on Americans, which is wrong as it is, but to use it to target people politically. Right. Right. Obama did it, Hillary Clinton did it, and fucking Joe Biden did it.
Yep. So as far as and this is the last question, and we'll get to our next sponsor here. How important are these confirmation hearings? Because if we're just going through the checklist here of, let's say, Hegseth, right? We'll start with him because he was in trouble. There was a lot of media saying he was in trouble, everything else. He gets up there, he crushes, and then he gets in. After Tulsi got finished today, universally online, everybody said the same thing. She crushed. I don't necessarily see a problem with why you would vote against her.
Well, it's not just about handling it well. It's about giving people who need an excuse to vote for you an excuse to vote for you, to vote yes, right? So, like if your party or donors or constituents or whomever are worried about X, Y, and Z, let's say you're one of the Rhino Republicans, they're going to be the problem. The Democrats aren't voting for her under any circumstances. She will not get one Democratic vote.
I agree.
The Rhino people, whether they vote for her or not, will depend on whether she capitulates on something to them. And look, that'll happen behind closed doors. It won't happen out in Congress and or under oath, which means she can lie to them if she wants to, and she should, right? Behind closed doors. Letting the information become public is a problem. So we'll see how it goes. That's why it's important, though. It's important to show that you're competent, so people have confidence in voting yes for you. If you look like a jackass up there, you're fucked, right? Yeah. Like the fact that Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed as a Supreme Court justice forever will boggle my mind. That is the least qualified human being I've ever seen at a confirmation hearing for any job. It doesn't matter if they were confirming her for janitor of that place. I would have said no.
Well, she couldn't answer what a woman was, right? I mean, and that is one of those things those viral moments that will live forever for her. And I agree. But as far as the people I didn't think that would get in, like Kristi Noem, I thought she'd have problems. Shooting the fucking dog in the head and all that other stuff. That was, I mean, we didn't hear a fucking kitten fart out of that goddamn thing. And she sailed through. Pam Bondi sailed through as well. Had no issues whatsoever. The only one that's universally on both sides, they were like, it was a little shaky so far, was RFK Jr. yesterday. And I guess he's back for day 2 today.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah, he is right now. But again, where or what or what chamber, I don't know any of that shit. It's way above my pay grade. But everybody else so far, it seems, has done pretty well, and they've all gotten through. So I guess we'll find out. How long will this take now for Tulsi? 2-3 days? What's the rules on this?
I mean, they can. There are no rules, I don't think, about
when they vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be up to the. So first, the committee she just got grilled by, the Senate Intelligence Committee, will fucking vote to send it out to the rest of the Senate or not, right? And that'll go down party line. Okay. Probably I don't know how many people are on the committee, but I think the one for Pete was 12-10, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how it landed. So yeah, I mean,
Vance broke the tie.
Yeah, but it was 12-10 to get out of committee, and then it was like 50-50.
Yeah, it was 50-50, and then Vance came down. Yeah.
So I assume it'll be the same, probably 12-10 or 11. Yeah, it'll probably be 12-10 if they're doing 22-person committees for this. That's what it'll be. It'll be down party lines for sure.
Okay. Yeah, interesting to see what happens. Is there anybody else next down the road? Because these were kind of the big hitters.
I don't know who else needs to get confirmed. I mean, did education get confirmed already? That's Linda McMahon, right?
It is. I'm not sure if that job has to be confirmed, and yeah, she'll have to go and body slam some people. If so,
or shit on them.
Well, look, that's one of my favorite stories of all time on this show. Well, somebody asked that to her. Are you aware, ma'am, that your husband shit on a girl and then...
I wouldn't do it because she's a nice lady and it's not her fault that her husband's a piece of shit. But, man, I would want to. I definitely would want to.
Are you aware that your husband defecated on a woman, was able to complete the sexual act, shower, and then tell his buddies that they could continue on having sex with this woman after being shit on by him?
I would say duked on.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably can't say shit, right?
Well,
Trump
you can
said
say,
it.
well, in
Trump
Congress,
said it today.
you can get fined like $300, I think, for swearing in Congress, something like that.
Put a jar at the front. Let's go.
But Kash dropped a hard R today.
Sure did.
Because somebody was harassing him and they called him a sand N-word. And he just said it out like it was nobody's business. So I enjoyed that, actually.
He has every right to do so.
And then it was Lindsey Graham questioning him, and Lindsey Graham just goes, okay.
Yeah, it was like...
It's really funny.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did jazz hands afterwards.
He did a little jazzy hands there.
Because he's gay is what we're saying.
Yes.
I don't want to tiptoe around it. We're
He's
not
a
cowards here.
homosexual man, all right?
You know what? If he would just be gay openly and not hide like that, he would probably be happier and stop sending all of our money to Israel and Ukraine.
Yeah, dude, just get out of the closet, all right? Listen to the R. Kelly song. Eventually just come out, dude. You're going to have to face the midget with the frying pan. For those of you who've seen that video. Next up, sponsor-wise, we got MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Why am I smiling so big? Because I am up massive. I wonder what the max bet is, Delco, that I can put on this Super Bowl here.
Do it, coward.
I am up $54,000 currently on the season, and this is the highest it's ever gone. The audience is telling me to max it. Now, you know where I'm going for the Super Bowl. You know I'm all in on Chiefs -1.5. Has that line moved at all, Bob? Are we still there?
Disgusting display on Monday, you're still riding with the Chiefs.
Which one?
All of it.
Which disgusting display are you talking about?
Just all of it. They're just bad people.
Sure. What I remember is a Philly fan trapping a lady, calling her a cunt over and over again, and I believe that he has been banned for life.
That was the Green Bay Packers, and the dude that went and was apparently the victim in that situation, he raised money to go to the game so he could start shit with the Eagles fans. That was his entire goal, was to film us being pieces of shit.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But the guy, I mean, there are no good guys in that story.
No,
that
it was a GoFundMe to do that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the guy who sat there and let his girlfriend be talked to that way just so he could record it and put it on the internet is a cunt. The girl is a cunt.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy who was calling her a cunt is also a cunt. He works for a DEI facility.
Oh, really?
Somewhere, yeah. That's his job.
Didn't he get fired?
Yeah.
He got fired,
yeah. Because
actually, not because of what he said.
No, just for
being a football fan. They don't like that shit.
Yeah, they don't like that shit at all. So I've got, look, the spread is 1.5 for the Chiefs there, over under -49.5. My bookie's got some of the best teasers on the planet. Also, there is going to be 300 prop bets, which we'll do on Drinkin' Bros Sports with Derek Wolf next week when we do that preview show on Wednesday here. You can bet on the coin toss. I'm looking at it now. The MVP, the national anthem, over and under. Oh, shit, we've already got it, dude. Over and under 123.5 seconds.
That's high. But it's
African-American.
A color boy, as they used to say back in the day. That's what...
You have said that.
What's his name? Who's that old fucking senator that was racist, the Democrat one?
Strom Thurmond.
No. He's Republican. Who was the?
Well, he was both.
Who was the both? Yeah, he was. I guess after 48, he switched. Well, in 48, he ran on the segregationist ticket.
He sure did.
No, the other one, the Democrat, Robert Byrd.
Oh, Robert Byrd. Yeah,
that's what he used to say that shit all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, dude.
Well, both of them. Yeah.
It's 1990, so let's calm it down a little bit. And he's like, no, because I'm 90.
Yeah, he's not going to do it.
Now,
a million prop bets here.
Does it concern you, though, that we have already offered up a sacrifice to the gods?
Which is?
A Temple student climbing a pole, fell and died. during a celebration for the Eagles game.
Oh God, they died. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, I don't care.
That's
it's sad, but
it's why
it doesn't affect my life.
Why?
I mean, we got to win now.
No, you don't actually. I think that's horrible for you. So look,
I think more lessons are learned if you lose. To be honest,
you think so, Bob?
Yeah.
49.5 over under. Where you living with that one? I think I'm going to tease this down. I'm going to jack up the Eagles, by the way. So I'm going to bet the Kansas City straight up at -1.5. I'm going to do one of the infamous MyBookie teasers here. Take Philly on that one, +8.5, and then drop that over down to 42.5, and go as hard as they'll let me go. We're a week and a half away, so they usually don't bump up the numbers here. But let's just see how hard they'll let me go right now. Oh shit, $22,000. So next week they might. What do you think? How far do you think they'll let you go here next week?
I don't know. We'll see.
Because
I thought the highest I've ever seen was 35K was what they allowed to put down on something. But we'll see.
Because whatever it is, we'll do it here and we'll max this out. So that way, when we're doing the live watch live on YouTube with Derek and Lastro and Jesse and Mike Eaton's doing a Super Bowl cook-off here as well for tailgate stuff. That way, we really got everything on this goddamn game all the way around. Plus, Delco, the diehard Eagle fan, will be with us up here behind the big boy desk. So you'll get to see the pain and anguish that I went through during that Michigan game, which was not fun. You know?
I'll be fine.
I don't think you will.
It's going to be a big dub.
It sure isn't. You can already hear it now. Fourth and 11. Mahomes passing complete. Wait a minute, Jim. There's a flag.
Bring in the champagne. Bring in cigars. I'm ready to go.
Not a prayer. Bob, who you got in this one?
Oh, Chiefs all day.
Yeah, same.
Fucking squares.
D'Anthony?
Eagles.
Really?
Yep.
God, we're split again. I've won the last 7 in a row. You're really going to go against me? I've won the last 7 Super Bowls in a row.
Been the favorite every game.
The only one I lost was the fucking perm bet.
Yeah, every one before this has been very obvious who was going to win.
That's not true. The Bucks were kind of a big dog.
Fuck yeah, they were.
Get out of here. With Tom Brady and Gronk and Mike Evans, they were a dog. Fuck off, dude.
They were a big dog, dude.
Maybe there was a line that said they were a big dog, but the Bucks were always going to win that game.
That was not a...
You guys all chose Philly 2 years ago. I was the only one who took the Chiefs in that fucking game.
Yeah, and we went up fucking 2 scores.
Yeah, because they don't care. The Chiefs never care.
And Jalen Hurts actually played a really good game.
Did he?
He did for a change, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and keep that in the vault.
What I've got in the vault is Saquon Barkley. He's the best player in football right now.
Very, very good.
I'm just betting on the best player.
Very, very good.
The last couple of years, Mahomes has been the best player, and this year it's Saquon, so I just think he's going to win.
And on mybookie.com, you'll be able to do the player prop bets. Thank you for that segue. And you can bet the over-under on how many yards Saquon Barkley will have. No doubt. It's probably going to be over 100, I would assume. Next week.
Yeah, usually for an elite running back in a playoff game, it's somewhere in the 80s, but you got to put it at 100 or 105 for Saquon, right?
I've never seen somebody this good. Derrick Henry,
in the fucking playoffs, not in the playoffs though. Man, Jesus Christ, like everything kind of tightens up in come playoff time, and this motherfucker just doesn't care.
Yeah,
I actually don't think he's going to have a good game.
Really? Why not? You think he'll stack the box?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they're going to Spags is going to kind of dial it up against Saquon. He'll still have a decent game. He'll have like 75 yards.
Make him throw.
I think Hurts is going to get it done. I think he's going to show his grit.
So far in the playoffs, Saquon's had 119, 205, and 118. I think he's going to be fine.
We'll find out.
I mean, that's an insane 442 yards in 3 games in the playoffs with 5 touchdowns. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
Join us live Super Bowl Sunday for the watch party here. We'll be doing the whole game with you. That way you don't have to hear the fucking announcers. And bet with us or against us on mybookie.com. Use that promo code DrinkinBros to double that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Next up, the Fifth Circuit strikes down handgun ban. Today, Firearms Policy Coalition announced that the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that the federal government's handgun ban for adults age 18 to 20 years old is unconstitutional. Short version of this is an 18-year-old is an adult, and there is no justifiable reason their Second Amendment rights should be violated because of some arbitrary decision by the government. Now, you called this, and you said this a long time ago, I think when this was first introduced.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that somehow 18 to 20-year-olds who can join the military, who can vote and do all this other stuff, somehow don't have a right to own a specific type of weapon. Now, the reason that it got through in the first place is because, well, concealable handguns didn't exist during the time of the founders, which is a very stupid interpretation of the Second Amendment. It's designed to protect yourself, whether it's from the government or from any other asshole running around. You have a right to protect yourself. It is an understanding of John Locke's concept that the most important right is the property right, and the most important property is yourself, right? That's it. So the text from the ruling here says, ultimately, the text of the Second Amendment includes 18 to 20-year-old individuals among, quote, the people whose right to keep and bear arms is protected. The federal government has presented scant evidence that 18 to 20-year-olds' firearms rights during the founding era were restricted in a similar manner to a contemporary federal handgun purchase ban. In some 18 U.S.C. 992 B1C1 and their attendant regulations are unconstitutional in light of our nation's historic tradition of firearm regulations. That's from the majority opinion of the court. Today's ruling, this is from FPC Brandon Combs. No, we had their marketing guy on before. We haven't had Brandon. We haven't had Brandon on yet, but we will. Today's ruling is yet another critical FPC win against an immoral and unconstitutional age-based gun ban. We look forward to restoring the Second Amendment rights of all peaceable adults throughout the United States. So how will this affect future cases is always something you should think about when there's a fucking district court or SCOTUS opinion, right? Either one of those. Now, this will definitely go to Supreme Court. Because, well, maybe not for a while. Okay. Because I don't think the person was standing here would be the Department of Justice. And Trump's Department of Justice is not likely to send this to the Supreme Court. I don't think. Like, you have to appeal it and send it to the Supreme Court. Sure. So I don't know how that's going to go down. I would be shocked. I would not shocked, but I'd be surprised if it happens. So how will it affect future cases? So any argument that has this or that condition, such as public safety concerns or new weapons types, will have this standard applied to them. The age from 18 to 20 is irrelevant, right? Mm-hmm. And whether or not the weapon or the tactic or whatever the fuck existed, or the condition or the circumstance existed during the founding period or not, is now null and void. That doesn't matter anymore. Now, that has to do with guns. And if you want to see more about this, it's Reese v. ATF, and you can see the full opinion at firearmspolicy.org/Reese. Okay. Spelled the traditional way. The other thing that this might have something to do with is something I've talked about for years, and that is that consuming alcohol is a constitutional right. Now, it wouldn't have been had Prohibition not happened. Mm-hmm. Prohibition happened, and then a new constitutional amendment, right, made Prohibition illegal, which means that you as an adult human being in America have a right to drink alcohol, 18 to 20 included. And this is good fucking jurisprudence to take into court. And I don't know who would even do that, right? It would have to be an 18 to 20-year-old suing the federal government or some lobbying group on their behalf, suing the federal government, say, hey, we deserve to do this. Now, maybe I'll find a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old veterans, and we can start a PAC, and we can sue the federal government for this, because the 21st Amendment is pretty clear. Producing, selling, and consuming alcohol is a constitutionally guaranteed right. The end.
And we do it here on the show with Hard AF Seltzer. Boom. I'm going to crack one here today. I got taxes to do after this for Hard AF. By the way, we left 30% of the company open up to you. The SEC actually has a limit on it, so it closes on April 30th. So if you want to invest in the company for Hard AF Seltzer, go to wefunder.com/HardAFSeltzer today. You have until April 30th, and then the SEC shuts it down. So join us there, and these are delightful. Serious question, though, regarding the handgun. Were those little musket shorties back in the day not considered handguns, or was it just a different definition?
I mean, it wasn't concealable. You can't put you could put a black powder fucking 50 caliber pistol down the front of your pants. I would not recommend it.
But they were baggy enough where you could get away with it.
I mean, you couldn't load it and put it down the front of your pants, because to load it, you have to cock the thing and put powder on the thingy there. I can't remember what it's called. I don't know that.
Little cotton tip?
No. On the
rag?
The striker.
Okay.
So, yeah, you would have to do all that. So you couldn't just pull out your black powder pistol and fucking smoke somebody like that until later on. Revolvers, right?
I think somebody did it. Who was the first one to go sideways, you think?
Probably one of those dudes from Glory.
Yeah. I like that.
You know, Denzel, maybe.
I get it.
Wasn't Hamilton?
Okay. Yeah.
Hamilton could. He was technically African.
He was, too.
Just to be fair.
Yeah, but it could have been down. Okay, yeah, I get it. Next up, NYU gets its shit together. Almost a dozen students have been suspended for a year from NYU, New York University there, for you dummies, for demanding divestment from Israel as President Donald Trump's no-nonsense approach to higher education takes hold. I think the key thing, and it seems to be going on at NYU, is not that schools come down hard on particular students, is that they enforce the rules evenly. Cornell University professor William Jacobson told Fox News Digital, the problem with the anti-Israel protesters on campuses is they don't want to obey the existing laws. They don't want to have to live by the rules that everyone else lives by, whether it's disrupting the library, whether it's blocking the campus flow of pedestrians. And as soon as you enforce the rules that everybody else needs to live by, then they start playing the victim. In a statement following the university's ruling to suspend the student protesters, NYU's Faculty for Justice in Palestine, which I didn't know was a thing, and yes, I went there for grad, argued that the group was participating in anti-war protests and acted non-violently. On December 11th and 12th, a group of NYU students and faculty dropped flyers and hung pro-Palestinian banners throughout the Bobst Library, and others conducted a sit-in on the floor of the library. As a drama student there, I never went to a library, so
why would you? Yeah.
Don't know either of those.
So this dumb group posted on their Instagram. I don't know why there's a faculty group doing this. Like, your job is not to be a fucking actor. I'll get into this in a sec. In a draconian case of collective punishment, and by the way, you would think that faculty would just be able to say, I don't know, corporal punishment, which is what that fucking means, by the way. You stupid fucks. Learn words. NYU has issued a blanket year-long suspension to students who participated in a nonviolent protest on campus on December 11th, 2024. As of today, at least 11 students have been suspended until January 26th. The sit-in was to demand a meeting with the administration officials regarding disclosure of and divestment from institutional investments in Israel. All students identified as participating in these actions were charged with similar violations of NYU's Code of Student Conduct. Hey, fuckface. It's college. You're there to learn, not to fucking protest. I don't know who told these stupid cunts that their job was to go. You don't know anything. You're 18 to 22 years old. You don't know shit. Shut your fucking mouth and listen. Go to class and shut the fuck up. Why? I don't understand why this has become. I mean, I know it's been going on since the fucking 50s. It's like, oh, the civil rights movement started on universities. Like, okay, cool.
That I understand. Civil rights
I don't
in
care.
America?
No, they should have been kicked off campus there too, right?
Well, it depends if they were allowed on campus.
Yeah, well, they weren't in these cases. But this had, like, if you think about it in terms of like an appeals court, the campus with civil rights issues would have had standing, right? Because we want black people to be able to come to this university. That makes sense.
Yeah.
This Israel-Palestine conflict that has nothing to fucking do with us, nothing to do with it.
I agree.
Now, if you're from Israel or you're from Palestine, go ahead and take sides. I don't give a shit, right? Fucking fly your gay little flags or whatever you want to do. I don't care. I don't care what you do.
You are allowed to put them out your dorm windows.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. But this idea that you're entitled to redress from the administration of a university that's a business that you're paying money to attend, that'd be like going into fucking Target and sitting down in the center of the floor and saying, I'm not leaving until somebody tells me why Diet Coke is more expensive than I want it to be. I'm not leaving, right? Do you have products from Israel in here? I'm going to burn this place down. It's like, fuck off, dude. It's so goddamn stupid. There's also been some bullshit recently about one of the executive orders that Trump signed about deporting people for anti-Semitism. That's how it's being characterized mostly by what James Lindsay, who was just here a while ago, would call the woke right. But people that just, everything is a racial issue or Israel with them. You know those people. It's the Jews, man. It's the fucking Jews. What the executive order actually says is that people that are here on visas, student visas or otherwise, who commit crimes during their protests will have their fucking visas revoked, which is the law, by the way. Like, this executive order isn't anything. There's no new law that's been created here. That is already the law. He's just saying he's going to do it. And he only used the Israel-Palestine thing as an example because that's what's happening on college campuses right now. If it was Antifa, like it was just 2 years ago instead, that's who we'd be talking about. If you're some fuckface from Spain that's here going to university and you think you can do your little gay Antifa fucking dances or whatever they do and try to fuck with people and lock people in rooms and shit like that, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone. That's it.
Do you know why?
Get the fuck out. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. You know, you don't have a right to be in this country unless you're a citizen. Fuck you. Get out or we'll get you out.
Yeah.
Send Tom Homan over there. How about that?
Do you know why NYU is so quick to do this?
I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with Barron fucking Trump going there.
Yeah, weird, right? President's kid is currently attending NYU, so they went ahead and raced this one through. Next up, AdWise, our good buddies over at firstform.com/Drinkin Bros. I've already taken my microfractures today, all right? So no need for me to do it live on air. Takes the guesswork out of vitamins over there and just pre-packages it for you. You got the Big Six in it. You got the antioxidants, CoQ10s, multivitamins, fruits and veggies, EFAs, and the probiotics. 30 of these little pouches in every single box. Boom, you reorder them the next month, and you're good to go. Also got these liver detox ones. Saving these for Super Bowl weekend, kids. All right? It's going to be a rough one. But D'Anthony, they're not just a multivitamin company. They're also a protein company.
So this morning for breakfast, I ate a Wagyu filet in 5 eggs because I need protein. I need a lot of it, right? But there are some days where I just don't have the time to go to all that trouble, right? A late night, I got to be up early and do some shit. I don't feel like cooking. I have options, right? I can order food from somewhere, which is expensive, or I can fucking eat First Form Level 1 bars to get my day started. That's how I do it typically.
Yeah. And they're sitting right in front of my desk here. These are the big dogs here. We have the full boxes in here. You can order them online. Best tasting protein bars in the planet. On the planet, I should say. And the peanut butter chocolates, pretzel ones are my jam. The cookie dough ones, and then the birthday cake ones. Motherfuckers, somebody took them, dude. Like, I had one. There was a full box, and then they were gone.
It's probably that drunk girl.
Oh,
she ate them on the way home when she drove out of here.
Smart of her. Yeah. Smart of her. Protein will help you with those hangovers as well. Also, their energy drinks just got picked up nationwide, so look out for those as well. It's my favorite energy drinks there is as well. Huge fan of firstform.com/Drinkin Bros. Free shipping on orders over $75 over there. And that is First Form spelled with a 1. That is 1STPHORM. Firstform.com/Drinkin Bros. Next up, Rumble in the Jungle. A Thornton Township meeting turned chaotic Tuesday night when a fight broke out between attendees with witnesses claiming Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, however she pronounces that, joined the scuffle. The altercation started after community activist Henyard critic Jedediah Brown. Are we doing this?
Oh, yeah, dude. He made a profane remark towards her, and then if any of these names sound familiar to you, this is America's worst mayor, as she's referred to often. That black girl that's always doing wild shit.
Yes.
She's under investigation right now. Even the former mayor of Chicago, and we're going to get to the current mayor of Chicago on the next story. The rest of the show is fun, by the way, just to be clear. It's all fun stuff. The former mayor of Chicago, the one that looked like a fucking Batman villain, remember her? She looked like Black Penguin or some shit. Yeah. She's investigating this bitch somehow. So anyways.
Lori Lightfoot?
Yeah. So financial misconduct and a judge's decision to keep her off the next ballot for township supervisor. All sorts of stuff's happened with this. But for this event, witnesses say it all started when a community activist and frequent critic of Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, however you say her name, told her, "You gone, bitch." And I think it's this guy right here.
And by the way, that's an exact quote.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would never make stuff up. According to those present, Henyard's boyfriend confronted the activist, Jedediah Brown, as you mentioned before, leading to an altercation. Henyard reportedly pushed her table aside and ran to the back of the room, allegedly joining the brawl. Now, I don't know what happened, so we're just going to have to watch this video.
So is there full video of this?
I don't know how full it is, but it definitely has some stuff in it.
Okay, let's see this here. Press play, Mom.
Go vote, and we're gonna exchange your black for Stephanie to be the new member of our. So all those in favor say, all those against it say nay, all those in favor say aye.
You gone, bitch. Wow. He did actually say you gone, bitch. Homeboy didn't want to pick up the microphone after that.
What? White? Is that a white lady?
Oh, that white lady needs to get out of there.
That person running in from the side there was Tiffany Hayner, by the way.
Get that white lady out of there. She's like 65. Get her out of there. Oh, boy. God damn, that's fun footage.
What do we
dude.
think about this, boys?
I love it.
That is democracy in action.
Yeah. It sure is, dude. Yeah.
There used to be fucking brawls.
That's old school.
In the voting lines and shit like that.
Yep.
I mean, they'd have to close pubs on. I mean, yeah, dude, fucking bring it back. I forget who it was, but in some slavery argument one day on the floor of Congress, somebody just beat the shit out of somebody else with a cane.
Yeah.
I mean, that
have
shit.
to.
Didn't they used to happen in especially in Asia? But Japan was one, and then there's some other Asian country. I think it was Cambodia or something, where the legislature just fist fought all the time.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it should go down, in my opinion. This is just you couldn't write this. If a guy who
I actually could.
No, if a guy who was a lifelong card-carrying member of the Ku Klux Klan decided to write something to make black people look bad, this is exactly what he would fucking write.
Right. I just like the way he grabbed the microphone like a rapper.
Oh yeah.
At 8 Mile and say, "You gone, bitch."
Well, he might be a rapper.
Could be.
And we've got a story about a rapper coming up.
Oh, I know that one.
Or a rapist. Jay Raymond in the chat, by the way, spent the night out on the Potomac. It wasn't pretty. Knew what we were headed into, and it was real bad. I assume he means he was on casualty collection out there, part of the recovery effort.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there, my dude.
Exactly. Temperatures are frigid. Obviously, the water is as well, and it is a full-on recovery effort. They are not looking for anybody alive at this point.
Yeah. So. And then to put a bow on this story, she's also the mayor of Dolton, so she's on she's a supervisor in the city in Thornton Township, but she's also the mayor of the city nearby. On Monday, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot presented findings from an investigation into Henyard's alleged misuse of funds. Additionally, a Cook County judge recently ruled that Henyard's name will not appear on the ballot for the upcoming Thornton Township supervisor election. So she's been kicked out, basically.
Or can I put that in a different way?
Sure.
You gone, bitch.
Oh,
sorry.
I don't know if he.
I just wanted to use his quote, or did he trademark it, or?
MC Calcium in the chat is asking, "Where's the chirp?"
Oh, Delco, did you add the chirp to the?
Can you send this video? Like, just send Joel the video and have him add a chirp. At the end?
We'll have him. We'll put some chirps through it and then put it up on our Instagram over there. Sponsor-wise, here last but not least on the show is ketone.com/drinking bros. I told you I got to do the hard AF seltzer taxes this afternoon. Daddy's going to be up late today. This I have every single day. Usually before the podcast or if I'm up late writing. Tonight's the special circumstances with taxes. Already coming in our faces here. Probably shouldn't use that phrase, but whatever.
What are you going to do, man?
Here it is. Just a little bottle of this right here. You see it on the desk. You see it in front of D'Anthony's desk. These are what these are. And boom, it's just one shot. You're good to go. Keeps you alert for 4 hours there.
Ketones are what your brain uses for energy. And that's just pure ketones right to your fucking dome.
And obviously I'm just drinking it live on air here because I got to stay up for a while. Ketone IQ, high performance energy, clean shot of energy. No sugar, caffeine. It's not like the shit like at the gas stations that'll make you jittery or nervous or twitchy or make you feel like you're having a fucking heart attack or whatever. So that's why I love these guys. I know they're working with, they worked with the Olympics last year DOD just dumped a bunch of money into these guys. And you're seeing them on podcasts everywhere because they're fucking great. They've also got new flavors, by the way. Big fan of that green apple. So if you go there now to ketone.com /Drinkin Bros, you're going to save 30% off your first subscription order and receive a free 6-pack. Here it is. Here's the 6-pack boxes that are coming there. So you'll get a free 6-pack of these little guys. And I'm addicted. I don't know. 2 years now, I think I've been doing these strictly. It's the only thing I have at my house. They're also available at Sprouts around the nation. Save 30% off your first subscription order and receive a free 6-pack of Ketone IQ with Ketone, Ketone, ketone.com /Drinkin Bros. Next up, speaking of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has been accused of not properly documenting designer gifts while also blocking access to the City Hall gift room. I was unaware that they had a gift room there.
Yeah.
What's that for?
To hold gifts that are given to the office and not the person.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
like the White House has this too. If a foreign dignitary gives I think a federal employee can only accept a gift up to $25 in value or some shit like that, include the president. So whenever something's given to the office of the president, it kind of goes into storage or whatever. So some of that stuff you see, like, you know how there was a story last week about how Trump put some stuff back into the White House or into the Oval Office that Biden had taken out.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff, some of the paintings, some of the fucking things are either on loan or they're gifts from somewhere else.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. The OIG released the report Wednesday accusing the Chicago mayor's office of accepting gifts, including Hugo Boss cufflinks, a personalized Mont Blanc pen, which is a nice thing. I'd take the pen. Are they really keeping track of the fucking pen?
It's an expensive
just a pen, man. I mean, it's just a pen. I know, but it's a pen at the end of the day. A 2023 U.S. national soccer team jersey, men or women's?
I mean, if it's men's, it's not worth it, I think. So.
That's what I'm going to say. Like, that's $0. You can't give those goddamn things away.
No.
A Gucci tote bag, a Kate Spade red purse, and a Carucci size 14 shoes from February 2nd, 2022 to March 20th of 2024. 14's excessive. That seems excessive to me. Usually you've got to order out for that. That's not, they don't typically carry 14s in the stores. It usually goes up to 13s. The report notes that almost 70% of the 380 logged gifts received from that time period do not list the identity of the donor. The city received the national soccer team jersey June 16th, 2023, from a representative from Nike on October 3rd, 2023. The city received AirPods, a tote bag, and a notepad from an executive with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. But other entries like the Hugo Boss cufflinks and personalized Mont Blanc pen received in the Gucci tote bag. Yeah. And a crossbody bag. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a gay, so he's probably using that a lot. Now, here's the problem. Some of this stuff it seems like just pissant nonsense.
Yeah.
The problem is personnel from the OIG was his Office of Inspector General, right? They're the ones that investigate this sort of thing. They went to the 5th floor of City Hall, where this room is, to request access to the gift room unannounced, which they're within the rights to do, to conduct an inspection of the manner in which gifts to the city are stored and to audit the gifts, including room controls, the gifts that are there, who they came from, all this stuff. Instead, the OIG was met by Chicago police officers. And after explaining the OIG's request to view the room, OIG personnel were told to wait in the lobby. OIG spoke with senior members of the mayor's office regarding the request, then presented a written request, a formal request to go in. After further delay, the mayor's office said it spoke to counsel, said that OIG would not be granted access to the gift room that day. To access the room, the OIG was told it would have to make an appointment. Once the OIG was denied, it engaged in further conversations with the Department of Law for access to the gift room, and it was told it would not be granted access at all. The OIG said in its report that the gift disclosures required by government ethics ordinance promote transparency, accountability, blah, blah, blah. Now, L.A. and New York get a lot of heat for being butt-fucked by corrupt liberals and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
but Chicago is the worst city in the country in that regard. And it's not even fucking close. There's no level of corruption in LA or New York or any of these other places that even fucking comes close to Chicago. It's part of their identity, actually. 4 of the last 6 governors of Illinois, all of whom come from Chicago, have spent time in prison, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 4 of the last 7, but it's something like that.
Blago is my favorite.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
He's the best, dude.
That's the standard for Chicago. And then you'll recall that their teachers union, the Chicago, whatever the fuck, CTU, Chicago Teachers Union, they were responsible for keeping kids nationally out of schools. They came up with this phrase that going back to school is rooted in white supremacy.
Yeah.
Rooted in white supremacy. It's like, this is the most corrupt place on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, right?
Maybe
no. Mexico City's worse?
No. Every story you've told me about the Middle East seems worse, right?
Yeah, but they don't pretend. It's not like, I mean, certainly they have corruption and stuff like that, and it happens a lot. But it's more like, I'll kill you if you don't give me your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more direct, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Because there was this story about the Saudi princes and the guys who were trying to change shit overseas and everything else.
Yeah.
Did you read that story? Because it was even more horrific than behind the scenes. And I'm like, I don't know anything that goes on over there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I'll limit it to America. I think Chicago-wise, probably in America.
This not probably. In America, there's no city that even comes close.
Crime-wise, as far as like corruption within the government, it's got to be in Illinois for sure. And same with like the legal shit and everything else. Wild that I'm getting fucking text. I don't know if they're watching the show, but got a text message from somebody in the January 6th committee. So that's fun. I don't often check that on air, but as far as Chicago goes and all this other shit, I don't really give a fuck about the pen, the jersey, or anything else.
Don't care. I don't care about any of this. The problem is when they come to inspect the room, you got to let them.
Yeah. And that's the only issue there. So who gives a fuck? I don't think anybody's going to care about the crossover bag?
Yeah.
Or the women's soccer jersey. Did we even win that year?
We haven't won since 12, right? I think. Or was it 6, or not 12, 14? Was 14 the last one, Bob?
It was a while ago, right?
I think 15 is what I'm seeing.
No, I think those girls just won. Didn't they? Didn't they win the Olympics this year?
Did they win this year?
Yeah. I think they did.
Well, that's the Olympics. I was talking about the World Cup.
Yeah. Maybe that was from...
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? I don't care.
We won in 2019.
Okay.
Good.
We lost to Sweden in 23.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so we just missed the last one.
Damn it.
Oh, hey, at least they're white.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
But in the round of 16.
That's not great. It's not great. Okay. Last up, Too Fat to Lift. That's a clever title, by the way. Detroit rapper and influencer. We've got to have the chirping noise now on the fucking board here. Dalja Blanding, known as her stage name Dank Demos, is suing Lyft after a driver refused to give her a ride, citing her weight. Attorneys for Blanding, who weighs 489 pounds, filed the lawsuit claiming the incident, which occurred earlier this month, violated Michigan's anti-discrimination laws, which include weight as a protected characteristic. Michigan is the only state where weight is legally protected under anti-discrimination laws. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, so for all intents, your weight is treated as your race or religion in Minnesota.
Michigan.
Michigan, I mean. Sorry,
Michigan.
excuse me. Yeah.
Okay.
Michigan.
What the fuck?
Minnesota's also dumb.
The incident is part of a wider, nailed it, conversation about how much responsibility companies should bear when it comes to accommodating plus size.
Hard to tell how
customers.
many of these are intended puns.
489 pounds, though,
Look at this fucking fat piece of
bigger
shit.
than a small bear.
Look at this.
Yes.
Yeah, that like a small black bear is probably like 400 pounds. Look at this bruiser. Jesus Christ, man.
Holy fuck.
She fucking stomps up to your car. I mean, first of all, you can feel her coming before you even see her.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. You're like, God damn, are we under attack? Is it Al-Qaeda?
Yeah.
Fuck. And then you see this fat fucking mongoloid.
That's a big one right there, dude.
Jesus
wow.
Christ,
Look
dude.
at her ambulance chasing lawyers, too.
I know.
Yeah. These
Look
guys
at-
are like fresh out of law school, too. Look at how young they are. They're like
Yeah.
fucking 28 years old.
Well, the thing is,
Shiny
if you
suits
get
on.
one of these cases and get millions of dollars, then you're rich forever, and all you do is play golf after that,
Yeah.
and hire a bunch of other kids out of college
Yeah.
to do this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, look,
I mean, not only that, but if she wins this case, every fat piece of shit in the world is going to move to Michigan and just start suing Lyft and Uber and anybody else and cabs and fucking restaurants. Hey, you don't have a bench seat for me. Like, no, man, we don't. It's a cafe. We don't do benches here. Well, I can't sit in that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe you should go sit in the street where you belong.
I'll take it a step further. I think because you're in the state of Michigan, you board a flight, and let's say they say, no, you can't get on the fucking flight. Then what happens? I mean, there's a lot of lawsuits that could come out of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is indeed a law, because Dan writes the news, by the way, in case you didn't know. If this is indeed a law, she's going to fucking win this case.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like that, like this 489-pound behemoth is going to win. The other problem is, and you and I take Ubers and Lyfts and all that bullshit all the time. Could she even get in one of the ones? Like, wouldn't you have to order an XL, pun intended?
Well, do they have Uber flatbed?
Because that would be great.
Yeah, where you can tow this fat retard up onto the.
It would be
she's
awesome.
She's flapping in the fucking wind. Like, sorry, you can't fit in the car like a real person. Get down to the weight of a real person, and I'll let you in my fucking car. How about that? I could smell you.
So
there's no way she smells good.
No. And Bob, is this a real rapper? I've never heard of this person. I saw this story.
Can we find some of the rapists?
Well,
Yeah, I'll see what I can find here.
Her name is Dank
YouTube.
Dank DeMoss, DEMOSS.
Just read off the Spotify numbers because we'll get dinged on YouTube for playing this bullshit.
Will we?
And that's yes.
What if she has heat though? You know?
No, we got fucking dinged for an audio socket song yesterday. So like, yeah, we'll fucking do it. What do you mean heat?
What if it's good?
Hot fire?
It won't. It won't be. I mean, I guess
I'll say it if it is, but I don't know how
we're playing her music video
and then just killing the. All right, let's do it. Where is she?
Are those gunshots in the background? Or is that
Oh
her
my
walk?
god, dude!
Good
I'm
God.
up there because I just need to vent. Like, I'm just so motherfucking tired.
Yeah, there's just gunshots in the back.
That's better than the
If
chirp.
I'm gonna
Come on,
fuck with my
man.
nigga today and not fuck with him tomorrow, I can do that shit. Like, I don't understand. What's
How
the
many
big
views
deal
does
about
bullshit
that?
have, Bob?
Like, girl, so what?
Who's shooting this, by the way? Why are they getting the most unflattering? I mean, there's no way to look at
There's
her.
no good angle.
The intro.
I'm back with him tomorrow.
Where's the
so
music?
Okay. Period. Period.
You gotta get the whole fucking experience. 3 minutes, like.
We're not watching all 3 minutes. I'll kill myself.
She can't even sit on that.
Y'all bitches always right about what they doing, who they fucking, what they got going on. Worry about
Okay.
y'all.
Yeah, cut
Get
it.
a nigga.
Because it's not good.
Get to the give me a hook, Bob.
Yeah, let's get to the hook.
Don't understand 'cause they ain't never had no loving. My man been the truth and I will never find another. Yeah, we
Yeah,
find
Bob.
but that don't mean we hate
Get
each
it,
other.
Bob.
I'm flipping out.
Get it, Bob. What up, girl?
We be breaking up, but he know what get coochie be. They say I'm the illest, he know not to play with me.
Yeah.
And they want some of my baby.
It's catchy as fuck, dude.
If they ever try to take my man from me, I went back to
Dank.
Let's go.
Let's go, Dank. What up, Dank?
I'm done with the headphones.
What up, girl?
I can't listen to any more of this fat retard.
Yeah. Rapping about loving and
She
the
should-
loving she's giving out.
She should be rapping
Yo,
about.
woman
she-
ain't giving out,
She
dude.
should be rapping about diabetes. Because that's what she has. Type 2.
All day long, I'm in the IHOP. I'm in the Red Lobster.
Oh, there's a Waffle House here in Austin, by the way.
Look at this.
You know that?
I'm gonna. All right, you can cut it here. We're all good for the rest of our lives. But
Did you know that there's a Waffle House in Austin?
Yes, and I have been there.
I've never been. I'm gonna go.
Late at night on a drive back from Dallas. I went
Taking
there.
my special lady on a date there.
It was
actually.
delightful. It's so good, dude.
It's not. It's the
It is the
worst.
best. Waffle
food
House
in
the
world.
best. It's the best.
It's the worst.
No, you put the camera on me. Waffle House the best. I'll ride or die for you the rest of my life.
She did ask about
It's the
going.
best, dude.
She did ask about going to Olive Garden, though.
Yes, because Olive Garden's great as well.
Yeah.
Salad and breadsticks are amazing.
I think we should do it all in one day. So Red Lobster for lunch.
It's called a
Olive
Bang
Garden
Bang.
for dinner, and then Waffle House for
Yep.
after party.
It's
for
called a
late
Bang
night,
Bang. Yeah, you got to bang bang that shit.
Yeah.
Where do you fit in Chili's?
Oh man,
Ooh,
Chili's is a
Friday.
Fucking, that's too fancy. Yeah, that's a weekend date.
That's a fucking weekend date, bro. That's not a Thursday date. That's a weekend date. That's a Valentine's Day date is what that is. How many followers does this dank bitch have?
She got like 8,000 subscribers on.
She got more subscribers in softcore history.
Yeah. But honestly, like rightfully so. So
yeah,
fair enough.
I will say whatever song you played, dude, was catchy.
I'm not gonna hate. I'm not going to hate.
I'm not going to hate on Dank. Now, the subject matter itself about her loving being better than everyone else is tough because I don't know how you would find any one of her holes except the one.
Oh, you don't have to. You just got to grease up a fold somewhere.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God.
Throw some butter in there.
Man.
Or some if you're from the South, some Duke's mayonnaise maybe.
Yeah.
Right? After the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Throw that Dukes on me. Throw that Dukes on me.
Or if you're if you're trying to stay healthy, use some beef tallow.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's very slippery. Now
Throw
there's
that fucking tallow on
there's
me.
a scent. It smells like meat.
Okay.
But she probably does too, to be fair. So I don't think you're gonna notice.
Oh God. Damn it! Look at how big that chick is, dude. It's fucking nuts. All right, kid. She couldn't even have a baby. Probably. That would kill the baby.
She wouldn't know if it was fucking in there or not, man.
That's one of those like ones where she goes to the bathroom and it was just like, holy
Dumps
shit.
out,
yeah, it's a fucking 7 month.
Hey, there's a Quado in your toilet.
Yeah.
Go clean it up.
Sorry about it. I didn't know. Follow me on TikTok or whatever's. And she's about to be a multimillionaire because this lawsuit will go through and they will settle out of court. I guarantee it.
Maybe
If that's a Michigan law. Yeah.
What if she so she wins, let's say $7 million, right? And uses the money, Ozempic, fucking
That's
surgery.
what Lizzo's doing.
Surgery, and then becomes a famous rapper afterwards using the proceeds. You know what I mean?
Well, and
Good
that's called a redemption story.
called the American Dream,
Sure
right
is.
there.
It's a glow up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got another fucking 8 Mile on our hands coming out of Detroit, dude. Let's go. Let's go. All right, kids. Now's the point in the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the week. You can submit on drinkinbros.com. Last day to get the bro box, by the way, on drinkinbros.com.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Saturday?
No, but it's they start shipping on Saturday.
On
so
Saturday.
If
Got
you
it.
buy it now, you'll get it early.
Okay, perfect. We've also got the Gulf of America shirts up there. You can pop up that FEMA shirt as well, because after watching Gary and Joel's movie on Street Gonzo here on the channel, you'll realize FEMA is definitely missing there. And then we got the J6 Survivor shirts. But yeah, we got a special Valentine's Day. One for the Bro Box this month, which is fun. Also, you can submit for Drinkin' Bro of the Week on there. However, if you're in the Austin area, pop on by. We'd love to see your smiling faces. Come on up, sir. You've been here all day long. Yeah, bring her on down. Kelsey, get out of the way. We've got a guest coming up on the show, Kelsey Sharon. All right. It's crazy out here. Ding it. Welcome to the show, sir. You've been partying with us all day, drinking some hard AFs. Cheers. I'm joining you here. Yep. God damn it. Taxes. I can't believe we're here already. God.
What's up, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good to see you, man. You've been hanging
you
out
too.
all day, partying, dude. Tell everybody your name.
Caleb Newberry. Yeah.
The famous Caleb Newberry.
Yeah.
In the flesh, dude.
All the groups, all the things.
You know what's weird is because I ran in, we did a Ross Patterson Revolution earlier, so we were just chatting like
Yeah, we
homies,
were just chit-chatting.
as we do, but we never introduced ourselves.
No.
I've known your name in the chat for probably 7-8 years now.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been around. Like, I won't say day one. I can't claim
Close.
that.
You're close, though.
I'm close, though.
Yeah.
So I got into the world with Derek Wida.
Okay.
And he was doing his CrossFit stuff.
Yes.
And I was all in. I was part of the CrossFit cult.
Yeah.
I was in that. And then he lived in the same neighborhood as Matt Best.
Yes.
And they, like, Wida used to do just random, like, remember Facebook Live?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And, like, Facebook.
He's one of our best friends.
He would just
in real
go
life,
Facebook
yeah.
Live,
Yeah.
and him and Matt Best would be, like, hanging out at their house.
Yeah.
And then they would talk about this, and then they start talking about Drinkin' Bros. I'm like, what's Drinkin' Bros?
Yeah.
Here I am.
Boom, here it is. You want to hear something crazy?
Like 9-10 years later, here I am.
Hey, do you want to hear something crazier? Today's the actual day that Jared started the Facebook group.
What?
So in 2015, this was the day he started the Facebook group, the private group Drinkin Bros.
10 years ago.
To this day, to this very day.
Cheers.
So absolutely, shout out Jared Taylor as well.
Cheers, JT.
But he
That's
started
awesome.
this obviously for veteran suicide and everything else.
Absolutely,
so it's like,
brother.
hey, dude, if you're having a hard time, find somebody, reach out.
Never drink alone.
No, never drink alone.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Always wear the hats. It's one of my favorite truckers that I always wear.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago to this day, 800 subgroups. If you look at, because you've been a part of pretty much all of this.
A lot of groups.
Sports, also Range 15.
Sports, Range 15, Maine, obviously. Austin, Colorado. I'm from Colorado.
Yes.
Lots of subgroups.
All the groups, but if you really look back at what has gone on in the last 10 years since he started that group.
Yeah.
We had Range 15, Black Rifle Coffee,
Yeah.
Hard AF Seltzer. We had the documentary for Range 15 as well, the live concert show.
Shaved Eagle.
Yeah, Shaved Eagle tour. We had Rocco went on to achieve his dream as being a fucking movie star. He was on all the Mayan series.
It's beautiful.
For the entire time.
Beautiful tree of stuff that's going
Derek Wida is a first form athlete sponsored by them. So he's actually in St. Louis with those guys.
Yeah.
Working out, doing all the videos for them. And it's been wild over the years, man.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, man. And I love being part of it.
Some dude started a Facebook group and that was it, man.
And
so
that one dude is Jared.
It sure is.
And we have to acknowledge that it's him.
It is. By the way, he put us all together too.
I mean, he's a shithead, but we love him.
No, I mean, for real. Like, I remember being on FaceTime. Matt was overseas doing some super secret work, and he FaceTimed from overseas, and I was sitting in Jared's house. And I stayed there for like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something like that. And when I was rewriting the script for Range 15, and I was like, man, you guys don't give a fuck. And they were like, man, we're surprised you don't give a fuck either. And it was like, could we be best friends? Do this shit? I was like, yeah, why not? Fuck it. So,
well, going back to RPR today, you guys are talking about the word retard.
Yes.
You guys were talking about autists
and autism.
Jared isn't autistic, but he is the king of the autists.
Yeah,
because he has like brought us all together in this autistic way.
Millions of people,
where we're all this thing,
right? And it's millions of people, which is wild. And people when we meet him out or we do these events and meet and greets and stuff like that. He'll kind of stay for like an hour and like bounce because he's one of those people who's just like, I can't focus on just this one thing.
It's ADHD or whatever. He's got.
Totally.
Yeah,
whatever it is, full retard.
That's awesome, man.
Who do you want to give Drinkin Bro of the Week to?
So I got 3. I'll be real quick.
I don't care. Take your time.
So number 1's my dad.
Okay. What does he do?
Denny Newberry. He was a Denver firefighter for like 33 years, and back in the day, old school, like just breaking down doors and doing the stuff, and didn't have any way to like. I grew up in a household where it was a fantastic home, but he saw the things that we never needed to see.
Sure.
Like he did the stuff, he saw the awful things in society, and he came home and he with a smile on his face, and he never let us know. And that was a good thing.
That's awesome.
And I love him for it. And then number 2 is my big brother, Jesse Newberry. He is a lieutenant colonel for the Air Force Reserves. He flies C-130s.
Okay.
He is, I don't know if he's currently doing it, but he was doing airdrops in California for Baker Fire.
No shit.
He was putting that stuff out.
Okay.
He's a badass.
That's awesome, man.
I love him. He flew C-17s back during the GWAT days.
Okay.
And now he's doing this stuff, and he's always been a hero of mine.
That's awesome.
Love him to
Fantastic job. Especially those airdrops. Right? Remember when those went viral?
Oh yeah.
They were number 1 on Twitter. It was
he's he tells me about it, and he like I send stuff to him, and he always breaks it down for me. He's like, no, it's not that cool, man. We're just doing our thing. We're just doing our job. I'm like, no, man, you're a badass.
Yeah.
You're a badass. You're flying at 150 feet off the ground in a giant machine, and you're dumping like fire retardant.
Yeah, there you go.
retarded.
Yeah, retarded. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Nailed
It's callback in the
the biz, dude. In the biz. We called it a callback in the biz. Yeah.
There we go. But no, like that, he's just awesome. I love
Okay.
him. And then the last one is I grew up so I'm from Denver. Grew up in Littleton, Colorado. Went to a little high school called Columbine.
Oh, shit. Were you there?
Yeah.
No fucking way, dude. Yeah. You were at Columbine when that happened?
I was 16 years old.
What was that like?
Shit show.
Yeah, but I'm sure.
It was rough. Yeah.
Did you see them walking down the hallway and all that stuff?
I didn't. I saw like a kind of an end result. I got shot at. I was getting out of the school, and I helped a classmate named Stephanie get out of school. She got shot in the ankle.
Okay.
And we got out of school. But it was rough, and it was a beautiful time afterwards, because it sounds weird, but it was high school. It was that weird time in our lives where we, there's cliques, there's groups, everyone shits on each other, everyone does a thing.
Sure.
After that, everyone was just golden.
It's kind of like 9/12. It was like the day after 9/11, where
perfect.
yeah,
no one. It didn't matter if you were a nerd or a jock or the things. It didn't matter. We were all bros. We were all bros, and that's why I love Drinkin' Bros, because it reminds me of that time. Like, we're all bros. Doesn't matter if you were a hard hitter, first line guy, or if you were cooking chow for, guys in the military, whatever. It doesn't matter what you did. You're still in. This kind of thing, like with Columbine, like we were all just on the same page. We were good. We were good.
Looking back on it, because I've never gotten to actually speak to anybody who was there and going through it. I remember seeing it in college at the time, and the craziness of it. My first thought was, hadn't just get out of high school and all that other stuff, was how do these kids live with this the rest of their lives? And I'm sure there's reunions and all that other stuff that have gone on. And how, what is that like for Columbine High School to this day?
So there's a blessing that we didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet that we know now.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't exist. And that was a blessing. That was an awesome thing, in the fact that we didn't have to relive that trauma over and over and over every day from the day that it happened onwards, because now we're talking about the airline crash and all that stuff. Those people get to look at it tomorrow, forever.
Yep.
I have to go to Wikipedia and I have to look at archived files, and that's nice. That's nice that I don't have it. I didn't have
in
that
your face and camera, cell phone footage, and all that stuff.
It wasn't there. It wasn't there every day. And so that was very nice. It was like a sensationalist media blitz that no one's ready for. No one's ready for that.
Especially kids.
Yeah, I was 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I talked to Katie Couric, and I was interviewed by her. I was interviewed by multiple media people. I was in there. I got shot at. Like, I saw other people. I wasn't in the bad part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I got out really quick. So I'm not gonna do a stolen valor thing where I was in the hard part of it. I got out really quick. But at the same time, it was a bad day. It was a bad day for a lot of people. But the beauty of it was we all came together. We all came together, and we all said, we're not going to let the world fuck us over. We're all going to be okay. We're all going to be okay after this.
One question I've always had regarding Columbine is it's often referenced in jokes and rap songs.
Yeah, I mean, we were
all the time.
We were the OG school shooter.
I know, and so it's everybody references that.
Yeah.
Now it happens so much. I couldn't tell you the name of the Nashville school.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know the name of that school.
I feel a sadness every time it happens for the last 10, 15 years, because I got a level of attention that was memorable, and all these other people don't. And hate that I feel bad for them for not getting it, but at the same time, I hate that I got it myself. Like it's two ways.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that it was so big for me, but I hate that these other people didn't get it also. Because like for me, remembering the whole reason this got brought up, you were asking about Drinkin' Bros of the Week. I wanted to say my friend Matt Kechter died in the library at Columbine. I grew up with him, played football with him.
I was going to say, wasn't he the football player? Yeah,
he was one of the but he was
one of the superstars.
So
right?
there was 12 students died, one teacher, and then the two guys. And he was this awesome kid. Like I loved him to death, and he was just this great. He was a childhood friend of mine, and I wanted to honor him. But I'm also here talking about it because like there's this numbness. There's this numbness to it that you just. Everyone quit caring. I mean, we care for a minute.
Yeah.
Care for a second.
But then it's the next tragedy, and then you move on.
Well, it's kind of like the title of RPR that you talked about today. It's like, when is enough enough?
Right.
The flip side, when is it enough? Like, is it enough to get a click? Is it enough to get do you care?
For the day.
For 30 seconds?
But for the day, and the way that the news cycle is going right now currently, it's so fast that immediately, take the airline crash. That trended number one on Twitter for, maybe 14, 16 hours, and then boom, it was Kash Patel. Then it was Tulsi Gabbard, and then it was the hearings, and then it was everything else.
And that's how it's been for the last 10 years.
Right. And that's unfortunately the world we live in right now that is so ADHD that it's on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and the next tragedy, the next school shooting, the next whatever it is, and like Trump assassination. We didn't even fucking talk about it. The president of the United States, the current president, was a tenth of a second from being assassinated. I haven't heard that fucking story in the news.
2 millimeters from a civil war.
Yes.
Dude.
And I haven't heard that story in 4 months. Like, what the fuck?
It's fun.
Yeah, for now.
Selena Gomez cries.
I know, yeah.
It's cool.
Don't deport our citizens. Don't even know how to help you. It's like, and that's on the next thing.
We just, we're barbarians.
Bizarre, man. I've always wondered how you guys came out of that, because as a kid, the other thing too, like as a kid watching, other kids just coming out of high school, I was like, fuck, man, I think it would fuck me up forever. That's one. Two, parent-wise, what did your parents say to you? Because you send your kids to school, which I do every single day. I got 3 kids to send them to school every day and drive them, drop them off. Because of Columbine, they're heavily protected now, where it's like, shit, man, you got to get through 2 locked
there's
doors.
Good things. There's good things that came out of it.
Yes, but you also feel weird that you got to go through 3 different doors just to get into a school now.
It's easier to get on an airplane.
Yeah. But your parents.
Yeah.
What did your parents say to you when you got home?
So
I'm assuming they probably came to the school.
Well, yeah. So they were there. They helped me. They picked me up. All the things. But like, mom she was just anything you need, whatever you got. I love you. I got you. Dad, firefighter that I talked about earlier, was just like, you're all right, man. Like, you'll be okay. I've seen shit. You've seen shit. Now we're in the same club.
Yeah.
Like you've seen dead bodies. I've seen dead bodies. We'll be okay. Now we can talk as adults. Now we can talk as men.
But it's 16.
At 16.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, cool.
Is there any weird PTSD today from it, or do you still have dreams or nightmares about it, or any of that stuff?
I look at a room and I see where the exit is, and I do the navigation.
Yeah.
And that's pretty standard with military guys and anyone that's been in anything.
Sure.
Like, you just like, okay, this is where I go.
Wild.
Like, if shit goes off, what do I do? And that is just baked into the DNA now.
Yeah, and I've known you on the boards here for years, and I never knew this story about you.
Well, I don't. I mean, I wanted to honor my buddy. Like, this isn't about me. I wanted to honor.
No, that's cool, because usually anybody who's gone through something like you've gone to is immediately like, "Hey, I'm the kid from Columbine." you know, or I'm the kid from wherever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever tragedy happens,
I get it.
you know?
And I lived with that for a while. And like, I went to Colorado State University, CSU.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there and it was always like, oh yeah, where are you from? And a lot of out-of-towners were like, Littleton. Oh, that's where Columbine is.
Yeah.
And they're like, did you go there?
Did you go there? Were you there?
And then like, you do the whole rigmarole of like, yeah. But something I swore to myself very early on is like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna, like, it's like honoring the people that were there. I'm not gonna say I didn't participate or be part of it.
Sure.
I was there.
Yeah.
It sucked. Don't want it. Don't like it. It's not my favorite thing. But it took me a long time to come to grips with a lot of things. Like you were talking about PTSD, like
because it's not just for military. I mean, there's other things that happen in your life.
Traumatic stress is from traumatic, stressful things. It's not always, blowing up Humvees or artillery rounds. Sometimes it's an asshole with a
couple assholes in trench coats
with a Tech 9 that comes into a high school and thinks that they're part of the Matrix.
Right.
And you're like, cool. Thanks, dickhead.
Yeah. Fuck, man. And then everything it seems like, has been inspired from that going on.
Well, yeah. There's
that's the other shitty part.
Bullshit, yeah. There's the, what is it? Copycats.
Mm-hmm.
There's the copycats.
Yeah, which we knew immediately the next day after that happened. I was like, I guarantee you this will go on now for.
Oh, it does.
It has.
It happens.
It still is going on to this day.
But I will say, like, local police, and not just my area, but just in general in America, local police have gotten a lot better. It's never going to be perfect.
No.
How do you prepare for some random asshole?
Well, I'll say this, at least in the state of Texas, they get a cop that is at every single school, and they're outside, and that's great.
Well,
so
and
at least
I will give props to
pretty safe.
We did have a school resource officer at Columbine, and he responded immediately, and he fired on target with those guys, and they exchanged fire.
Wow.
But he was one guy against two guys, and they had an elevated position, and he didn't know what he was doing because that's not a negative towards him.
No, not at all. You're not expecting something like that.
He was, this is pre that world. It was like, that's Hollywood movie stuff.
Yeah, dude, you were lucky if you had a mall cop. You were lucky if you
had
a mall cop working at your fucking high school at that time. Yeah.
And he went in and he charged hard and he fired back and he did his best, and he actually got told to withdraw. He was trying to do his best to get back in there and save people. And is
he still alive today?
Yeah, he's around. Yeah, Deputy Garter. He's love. I've talked to him. He hurts a lot about that. He wanted to save everyone that day. He couldn't.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to turn the Drinkin' Bro of the Week into this.
No, man. It's been my fascination with it, and I think a lot of the audience too, where I have never met anybody who was actually there at the time. We all talk about it, and again, you hear it in songs, and it's referenced to this day a lot.
It's the weirdest thing for me. So it's being part of like a cultural thing. So this is 99. This is when it happened.
Yeah.
I went to Colorado State University 2001. I'm in a classroom. I'm opening up a textbook, and there's a picture of my friends holding a casket of my friend Matt that I'm talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a textbook. My life is in a textbook.
Right.
In 3 years. What?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, is that real? And like, that wasn't my intention to like be part of like American culture that way. I want to be in part of American culture because of the thing I created or the thing I built or whatever. The good.
Sure.
The positive. The Carnegie, like I built something from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Elon Musk, whatever. And no, I'm part of this.
Columbine.
This is my thing.
Yeah.
Shit.
And it's so big that it's like you say that one word, everybody knows.
Everyone knows it.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows it. And you're there. You were there.
Well, hey, first of all, I'm glad you're alive.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Second of all, thank you for sharing your story, and it's great that you came by today.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in at home. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star, and you can walk away. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This